recipe show, and inshallah we're gonna have quite a few let's say winter dishes, because seeing as though it's snowing outside in our area, I thought that maybe we could do some soups, some homemade bread and stuff. So guys, you're gonna have to bear with me a minute, and inshallah, hopefully what we're planning on doing is what I'm planning on doing, well, sharing with you guys today, is a recipe which is it's like, because obviously it's snowing outside, it's the cold weather, so I thought that maybe we should do a few soups and maybe some things to go on the side, and hopefully I'll be talking about a few local businesses, well, local and one I think is based in Manchester, but they are cake baking businesses, and we've got quite a few. And hopefully next week, inshallah, we'll have one of the bakers as our guests, and they'll tell us about how they set up their business and they share some recipes with us as well, and just talk in general about food and why they set up that business, what was their passion, why did they want to do it and stuff like that. Hopefully we'll be talking about that as well. And later on I will be giving you some hot off the press food news. So we'll look at what's been going on in the food industry, what have we been eating. Obviously it's been Christmas, and I do tend to see quite a few, people, sticking with the whole theme. So they, decide to do a Christmas turkey and stuff like that. So, I'll hopefully share a recipe of that with you as well, if you like. I mean, it doesn't mean just because we don't celebrate it doesn't mean we can't nick their, good foods. We can create it into our own thing and say that, look, this is like, we're it's called equality and diversity, basically. So we're being equal, but then we're being diverse as well. So, hopefully I'll be sharing that with you. And later on, after the food news and stuff, I'll, round up the whole show. And as per usual, we will, hopefully get some callers in this time. Hopefully, inshallah, I'm hoping that there will be. And yes, let's get on with the recipe. So today's recipe I've chosen, it's a good soup. People tend to eat it a lot in the winter, and some people serve it a lot as a starter. It's like a Thai / Chinese English recipe. I don't think it can be, it's chicken noodle soup, basically. So this recipe today is a chicken noodle soup. It's aromatic, and it's like an aromatic broth that will warm you up on a winter's evening, which is obviously today. So obviously if you guys want to make it now, then follow me step by step, and inshallah you won't go wrong. And it contains ginger, which is particularly good for colds too. So obviously if you've got a cold or something like that, or if you're, people are normally getting colds in this weather anyway, so this is a great thing, and it's healthy for you as well. And for this, the ingredients we need, so pens and papers out, please, if you guys are noting them down, inshallah. And for this, we need 900 milliliters of chicken or vegetable stock or miso soup mix or whatever you want. So any, like if you've got some sachets of stock that you just whisk in with water, then you can use them. But, homemade is good. I'll tell you at the end of the show, inshallah, how to make your own vegetable stock. I mentioned that previously as well, but then we didn't have enough time, so I couldn't mention it then. But I've mentioned it to you now, and inshallah at the end I'll give you a homemade vegetable stock recipe. It's quite a lengthy process to make your own stock, but it's worth it because all the flavors and things, you can really taste the difference if it's homemade rather than bought from a shop or supermarket. Right, okay. So for this soup, we need obviously 900 milliliters of chicken or vegetable stock. skinless chicken breast. That's about 175, and in ounces, that's 6 ounces. And you need 1 teaspoon of chopped fresh root ginger. Root ginger, ginger, it's all the same thing. I've never seen any other ginger except root ginger, to be honest. I mean, whenever I go to the supermarket, I only see one kind of ginger. Same with garlic. I see loads of, different kinds, like big cloves, small cloves, but it's all the same thing. Depends how much you want to use. So you need about 1 teaspoon of chopped fresh root ginger. So peel the skin away from the ginger. Or what people do nowadays is, because they're so lazy and they prefer to think of it as extra fiber. But what it is that you can actually leave the skin on if it's washed really well. And, that's a healthy way too. That's an even more healthier version of this soup if you do that. So you need 1 garlic clove, finely chopped, small, big, up to you. If you want to add 2 garlic cloves, do that, but it's either 1 or 2. You can't add more than that, or else the soup will not taste right. I don't think. I've tried it, believe me, and it's not come out well. You need 50 grams of rice or wheat noodles, 2 tablespoons of sweet corn, canned or frozen, your choice, two to three mushrooms, thinly sliced. You can use buttercup mushrooms, you can use shiitake mushrooms, you can use those little Chinese ones, and yeah, whatever mushroom you like. And you need about 2 to 3 of them. And then you need 2 tablespoons, 2 spring onions, shredded or finely chopped. You can do whatever, or you can use one. If you want a more oniony flavor in the soup, then I suggest you use the Spanish yellow onion, which is those normal ones that we use at home, I assume, or a red onion if you like. And you need 2 teaspoons of soy sauce plus extra for serving. And you need mint or basil leaves, and a little shredded chili. That's up to you, because that's to put on top of it after the soup's done. And that's where it comes in. That's where the Chinese twist comes in, the Japanese twist, the English twist, and the American twist. It's all in the topping. So whatever you do with the topping, really, whether his name up and add the chicken, garlic into the bowl, then reduce, cover and simmer for 20. Obviously, cook it until the extra. When it's done, please make sure chicken breast. Yeah. And the thing is with chicken breast is that if you overcook it, or if you even slightly overcooked, what happens is the chicken, even when it's cooked normally, chicken breast seems to be a lot stringier than a chicken leg, because obviously chicken thighs, chicken legs are more moist, a different part of the chicken. Obviously they have more, I think they have, you could, the reason why we're using chicken breast here is because it doesn't easily fall apart, whereas chicken thighs and chicken leg, they fall apart really easily, but you don't want that to happen in this soup. And obviously cook the chicken for about 20 minutes with the stock, the chicken, the ginger and the garlic, and cover and simmer for about 20 minutes. And then remove the chicken to a board and shred it into bite-sized pieces using a couple of forks. Or you know what I do? I don't bother with this step, because I feel as if you do that, you'll turn into a sort of, I don't know, soups are quite smooth, but I like a bit of texture in my soup. So I'd chop it, if the chicken's in a whole breast and not already chopped up, then I'd chop it up into chunks. Like, my bite-sized chunk is probably, huge, but I'm just saying that, however big your bite sizes are, keep it to that. And obviously if you want to keep it as it is, then you can do that, and you can just pour the stock over. And step 2 is return the chicken to the stock, and then with the noodles, the corn, mushrooms, the half the spring onions, and the soy sauce. And obviously the main ingredients for this is obviously it's got just a plain packet of noodles. You can use any, you can, not the packeted ones that you get, that the pot noodles, not them. You want a packet of fresh egg noodles, or thin lacy noodles or whatever you want, any noodle you can find. Egg noodles are the best for this, I can tell you that. And then what you need to do is, obviously, as I said, return the chicken to the stock with the noodles, corn mushrooms, half the spring onions, and soy sauce. So half the spring onions, because I think the other half, what we're going to do is scatter over, over the top with the herbs and chili shreds if using. And then after you've added the spring onions and the soy sauce, you need to simmer that for 3 to 4 minutes until the noodles, are tender. So what we say is, even with noodles, I think with pasta, the Italians, they have a word called al dente, which means it's the way the pasta is meant to be, al dente. So with noodles, you should I apply the same technique to when cooking with noodles. So when it's al dente, you can start eating it, because that's all you have to do. After you've added the noodles, you ladle it into bowls and scatter over the remaining spring onions, herbs, and chili shreds if using. Serve with extra soy sauce for sprinkling, and that's your chicken noodle soup done. And yeah, inshallah, we'll go on to something a bit mainstream now. So chicken noodle soup obviously is a winter warmer. Obviously it's winter now, so we want some winter dishes. So what we can do is, there's quite a few recipes. We have loads. I've been writing so many at home. I've been really, it's unbelievable, because obviously winter is a month where people, most people tend to stay inside, and whenever you're inside, half the time, it's even been in a study. A study was carried out recently, actually, that 75% of people on a daily basis, 24 hours, 24/7, look forward to what they're going to eat next. So after you've had your breakfast, you're looking forward to your lunch. Whether you're doing your work, whether you're with people, whether you're, whether whatever you're doing, you're always thinking about food, what you're going to eat later, what you're going to have later, what your food's going to be. So it's a good thing. So we have loads here. I wrote up recent ones. We have another soup. We have sweet potato and butternut squash soup, which I showed you last time anyway. We had a dessert, which was squidgy chocolate pear pudding, and this is really, really nice. Chocolate and pear is a classic combination. Not many people are aware of it. It's always been chocolate and orange and strawberries and cream and all the other ones, but this chocolate and pear is not that well known, but it is like a sort of a vintage flavor collision, let's say, but in a good way. There's we have Persian lamb tagine, we have chicken lasagna, we have we have a beef stew, we have winter leek potato soup, we have we have all sorts. It just depends on, and if you guys want to call in and at any time as well, the WhatsApp number for Al Mubarak Radio is 07868476577. So if you want any hints and tips, do follow me on Twitter. That's at Kabia044, and I can advise you on any recipes you like, and all the pictures of the recipes that I make are on there. So if you'd like to view them step by step, you can use that as well. And if you can request me as well. I can make videos for you, or picture books or whatever you find easier to follow. But they're all online anyway, so you should be able to find them via my Twitter account. And we have another one, which is a classic winter fruit cake. Not many people are big fans, especially, I don't like fruit cake, but then this recipe is for those who like fruit cake. So if you do like fruit cake, I shall hopefully share this with you as well. There's a winter fruit salad as well, and we have a winter crunch salad as well. So I think what I'm going to give you guys today, as a dessert, I'm going to give you squidgy chocolate pear pudding, and as the main, I'm going to give you Persian lamb tagine. And a tagine is basically, I think it's named after its volcano-shaped dish. That's what a tagine is basically. It's like a flat round disc at the bottom, but then the top of where it cooks on, it's shaped into a sort of cone, and it's that's why it's called a tagine. It's because of that. And obviously, I've written a bit about this tagine soup, so it's a warming stew and it's spiced with like cinnamon, cumin, and sweetened with apricots and dates perfectly with fluffy couscous or whatever. You can serve this with couscous. And obviously, this is, I think tagine is Moroccan, if I'm correct. Yeah, tagine is a Moroccan. Lamb tagine is a Moroccan dish. So obviously, the Moroccans love to use a lot of fruit, a lot of, exotic fruits in their food. So, there's always a bit of mango, apricots, dried cranberries and all that stuff. So if you don't want to add the fruit, you don't have to, but it really adds to the flavor, I think, because you get a bit of sweetness, you get a bit of spice, you get a bit of sour, and then you get a bit of bitterness from, the spices. So for this, we need about 2 kilograms of lamb neck fillets. If you ask your butcher, he'll know what that is. And then you need 5 tablespoons of olive oil or sunflower oil. You need, do not use vegetable oil here because I think although vegetable oil has a high melting point, I think it doesn't have that. It's a flavorless oil, so I wouldn't use that here because this dish is all about flavor. You need 3 medium onions cut into thin wedges. You need 4 garlic cloves finely chopped. You need 4 teaspoons of ground cumin, 4 teaspoons of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric, large pinch of saffron, 2 cinnamon sticks, 2 preserved lemons from a jar. You can buy them in Tesco's. You don't have to use this here. You can leave this out if you want. The dish will remain the same. Actually, what I'm going to tell you now shouldn't make a difference to the dish if you don't add it. So the lemons, if you are using apricots, then please add 300 grams, and that's ready to eat, not drained and stuff. You want dried apricots that are ready to eat, and 250 grams of dried pitted dates. Do not use fresh fruit here, obviously, because that's just going to make the sauce for the tagine all watery, and it'll never go thick because obviously you've got the juices in the fresh fruit, whereas dried fruit doesn't have that. So please use dried fruit here if you are using them. 100 grams of shelled pistachios, 2 teaspoons of rose water, 25 grams of corn flour, small bunch coriander, leaves roughly chopped. You don't have to, chop them all finely to make it all neat. And cooked couscous or rice to serve. So you can choose couscous or rice. Don't use pasta or anything because they just don't go together. I've seen people doing it because they like it. They like the way it tastes. But I think you should use either couscous or rice over here. So the method for this is there are 4 steps in total in this, but I'm going to break them down because they are really, really long. So to make it easier for you guys, I'll explain in detail. So obviously, the first thing what we all must remember to do is no matter when you start a recipe, if it uses the oven, please preheat it before you do anything. You need to preheat the oven for this recipe at 180 degrees for a normal electric oven, 160 degrees for a fan assisted oven, and gas mark 4 for those, olden day gas ovens. And what you need to do is trim the lamb of any hard fat, cut into chunks and season all over. So obviously, if you ask your butcher, he'll do this for you, so you can ignore this step. Ask him to remove all the fat of or trim the lamb of any hard fat, and then cut it into chunks yourself and season all over with salt to taste and pepper to taste. And heat 1 tablespoon of oil in a large flame-proof casserole dish and brown the lamb in 3 to 4 batches over high heat for 1 to 2 minutes until lightly colored. What you need to do next is step number 2. Add 1 tablespoon of oil between each batch and transfer to a bowl each time a batch is browned. So obviously you need a bowl at the side so you can add each time you do the batch, you can put it into the bowl and add the next and put it into the bowl until you're finished. Step 3 is to heat the remaining oil in the same dish over a medium heat and fry the onions for 5 minutes or until softened and lightly colored. So don't make them go all dark brown or anything, just lightly colored, light golden sort of yellowy color. Stir in the garlic, cumin, coriander, chili powder, turmeric, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of flaked sea salt. And the reason why we're using sea salt here is because it's obviously more coarser than a table salt. But use about half a teaspoon of coarse salt if you've got that, or table salt, or kosher salt, or whatever salt you have. And cook for 1 minute, stirring. Return the lamb to the dish and add 1.5 liters of water. Add the saffron, the cinnamon, and the lemons. Bring to a simmer, stirring a few times now and then. Cover with the lid and transfer to the oven and cook for 1 hour. So obviously this is where your casserole dish needs to be oven proof. So please make sure it is, or else what happened with me last time was this was ages ago, but what happened was I used a glass bowl type of dish, and what happened was obviously it wasn't oven safe. It was oven safe to a certain degree, but like what I did, I cooked it above the degree, and what happened was in the oven it just broke. The glass fell apart, and the dish that I was cooking, it was all over the oven, and it was horrible. You do not want to go through that. So please make sure your dish is oven proof, your casserole dish. And then step number 4 is, after it's cooked, carefully remove the dish from the oven. Stir in the apricots, dates, and half the pistachios. Then cover once more and return to the oven. Cook for a further 30 minutes or until the lamb is very tender. So what you can do, the best way to test lamb if it's tender is 2 spoons, 2 large tablespoons. And what you should do is just feel it and try and pull it apart with just 2 spoons. Don't use fork or anything, because then you obviously can easily do that. But to make sure it's very tender, you should always use 2 tablespoons. So that's the tip right there. Yeah, that's fine. And what we can do next, and what we do next, is step number 5, which is step number 6. Sorry, step number 5 was cook for a further 30 minutes with the apricots, dates, and pistachios, and until the lamb is very tender, like I said. And step number 6 is, transfer the dish to the hob and adjust the seasoning to taste. Mix the corn flour with the rose water and 3 tablespoons of cold water. Then stir into the tagine. Cook over a medium heat for 1 to 2 minutes or until the sauce thickens. Thickening the sauce with cauliflower isn't traditional, I can tell you that, but it helps the tagine to freeze more successfully. So if you do decide to freeze this dish, then adding the corn flour here is very important. And then when ready to serve, roughly chop the remaining nuts, sprinkle over the top, garnish with coriander, and serve with couscous or rice. And obviously couscous, if you've got, like, let's say couscous is easy to cook. I'm sure people can just follow the packet instructions, and same with rice, just follow the packet instructions. And what I'm gonna do next is a dessert for you guys, which is squidgy chocolate pear pudding. And this is a recipe by Nigella Lawson originally. I know I'm a big fan of hers, so I only use her recipes because I've tried and tested them myself, and they always work. So you can search her online for other recipes as well. She's got a load for winter, for this month anyway. This hot gooey chocolate pudding with dark chocolate and canned pears can be made ahead and frozen, and for like a perfect no-fuss dinner party dessert if you like. But I just make it whenever I feel like eating it. So for this, you need 200 grams of butter plus extra for greasing, 300 grams of golden caster sugar. Make sure it's golden. I don't know why, but it just works. 4 large eggs, 75 grams of plain flour, 50 grams of cocoa powder, 410 grams of canned pears, half in juice, drained. So obviously don't get it in syrup, get it in the juice because it'll be too sweet then. And when you use the sugar, it'll sweeten it even more. And 100 grams of plain dark chocolate. 70. That's if you buy Lindor's or anything like that, then it's 70% cocoa solid. It'll say on the front of the packet what percentage of the cocoa it has. You need about 25 grams of flaked almonds. That's optional, and cream or double cream, whipped or ice cream to serve. So for the method for squidgy chocolate pear pudding is heat the oven to 190 degrees normal, 170 degrees fan, gas mark 5. Lightly grease a roughly 20 times 30 centimeter shallow oven-proof dish. Put the butter in a large saucepan and place over a low heat until just melted. Remove the butter from the heat and stir in the sugar until well combined. Then number 2 is to whisk the eggs together in a large bowl. Gradually add the eggs to the butter and sugar, beating well with a wooden spoon in between each addition. So obviously slowly, step by step. Don't rush it. Sift the flour and cocoa powder on top of the egg mixture, then beat hard with a wooden spoon until thoroughly combined. Pour into a prepared tin or dish and nestle the pears into the chocolate batter. Put the chocolate on a board and cut into chunks, roughly 100 and, not 100, sorry. It's roughly 1.5 centimeters with a large knife. Scatter the chocolate pieces over the batter and sprinkle with almonds, if you like, and can be frozen at this stage. So if you do want to freeze it for, the day after or something, you can do at this point. But if you're baking it, that's where 4 comes in. Bake in the center of the oven for 30 minutes or until the mixture is crusty on the surface and lightly cooked inside. Do not allow to overcook, as the cake will become spongy rather than gooey in the center. Serve warm with cream or ice cream. So obviously you want it to be a bit you want it to be squidgy here, because don't worry, the squidgy part comes from the chocolate that you've added straight into there. It won't come from the actual mixture because the mixture will be cooked. So don't worry if it's squidgy. You'll know it's squidgy because of the chocolate addition that you added, not because of the butter. So eat it without yeah, it should be fine the way you eat it anyway. But if something does go wrong, you can contact me at Al Mubarak Radio and I'll see if I can help you guys as well. Now I'll share some food news with you. Let's see what's going on in the food industry at this moment. In the UK anyway, we'll just have to use. We'll look at quite a few. There's a load of reports on several things in the food industry. So when I say food news, I don't necessarily mean just food, eating food. I mean what's going on in the industry itself, people creating, scientists discovering new foods, new fruits, new veg. It's always on the run. People always have to eat, celebrity diet plans, and and extreme food things as well. Like last on one of our previous shows, we had we were discussing the black burger that Burger King released, and KFC's chicken USB sticks, and hell knows what else. But yeah, it's obviously it's a good thing, but we'll just have to see. Let's see what this is about. But it has a lot of. There's been recent news on quite a few new restaurants opening up, and hopefully I'll be talking about a few businesses that I'm going to give a shout out to because I think they're amazing, and hopefully one of them is going to join us for a slight, let's say, food interview, let's say, and they'll be talking to us about baking and cooking, giving us some hints and tips and talking about themselves as well, because we obviously want to hear from them and share their story with you guys as well, inshallah. So let me just load up some food news. Obviously Christmas dinner is a big thing nowadays. Obviously we as Muslims, we don't celebrate it, but there's no harm in eating the food that they cook on Christmas dinner. But you know, there's been a lot of recent reports. Apparently sushi is under threat now from overfishing, claims Japan's most revered chef. The world's most renowned chef, sushi chef, predicts a bleak future for the Japanese specialty because of the increasing difficulties in sourcing ingredients because of overfishing. So he's talking about sushi here. So obviously there's been quite a few foods that have come under threat as well. Sushi is one of the main ones because obviously people are overfishing. There's been loads of reports about fish not being able to reproduce because they've obviously overfished. So they need to stop that, don't they? And you know, this particular man is saying that, you know, he's the world's most renowned sushi chef. So he's saying that it can come under threat. And not only that, there's quite a few, you know, we will have you know, I'm sure there was been loads of foods that are extinct now. Actually, I'll share some with you guys as well. But there's been I think there's 6 foods that I can say that are going extinct because of climate change, which is a big thing, and obviously it's because of us humans anyway. But there's been a lot of obviously fish is one of the main ones, like I said. So many species of fish, as we report frequently here, are diminishing rapidly because of overfishing and climate change. Salmon and trout, which depend on the cold of streams, rivers for survival, are especially especially important, but so are fish that never leave the ocean. Already larger fish are not growing as big as they used to, measuring up to 25% smaller. So that's a big change right there. Because warmer oceans result in less dissolved oxygen, other species are invading fishermen as they migrate to warmer seas. A solution, as with vegetables, is to look to traditionally less desirable species for food. So that's what we will have to do if these foods do become extinct. And you might be surprised by this one, but chocolate's another one. Chocolates, you know, we all love chocolate. I mean, I've met people who hate it, but, you know, 80%, 90% of the world loves chocolate. And, you know, this is an interesting fact right here. Did you know that more than half of the world's chocolate is produced in Ghana and the Ivory Coast? So most of the chocolate that we eat today is produced in Ghana and the Ivory Coast. Scientists predict that rising temperatures in chocolate producing regions owing to climate change are affecting the growth of cocoa, chocolate's main ingredient, and that chocolate production will be significantly diminished by 2030. So this is what our scientists are predicting about chocolate. And obviously if chocolate goes, I'll go, because you know, my recipes, most of my dessert recipes, let's say 50%, 60% of them do include chocolate. So you know, we hopefully that will happen. And this might surprise you as well, but peanuts are another one that are on their way to extinction eventually because of climate change. Will the PB&J, an American staple, go the way of the dodo? that's basically just an example there. Peanuts are rather fussy plants, according to government report, needing particular growing conditions to thrive, including just the right moisture and cool underground temperature. Well, increased temperatures and historic droughts in peanut growing regions now threatens this baseball game favorite and the delicious butter it makes. So it's true because peanut butter is, probably one of the most loved things around the world anyway. So obviously peanuts are on their way to extinction as well, unless someone brings out some other bright idea. We're always hearing on the news, someone's done this, someone's done that. So I'm just hoping for the scientists to find a way around this. Let's say I think there was one more actually that I saw recently in a report. Maple syrup. Yeah, maple syrup is like pure maple syrup produced across the cooler northern regions of the United States and Canada is losing its sweetness and may go away entirely. Researchers in New Hampshire have been studying the effect of climate change on syrup source, the sugar maple, and have found that warmer temperatures are resulting in shorter and shorter sapping seasons and less sugary sap. Here's the scary part though. If New England, which is 2 to 4 degrees warmer than it was 100 years ago, gains another 6 degrees in average temperature, sugar maples could disappear completely. So obviously England's getting warmer at the moment anyway, so that's by 6 degrees apparently, and over the past 100 years anyway. So yeah, and the conditions that maple syrup needs to produce in is obviously not available, is becoming unavailable now. So it might basically disappear completely. So we'll probably have to say bye-bye to maple syrup and those pancakes that we all put it on. But hopefully, like I said, I'm hoping for a scientist to find their way around this. And there's loads of fake syrup brands nowadays as well. You can find fake maple syrup as well. It gives a similar taste, but there's nothing like the pure thing. And this is another thing. I mean, we're talking about basically things that matter to people most. So when you get up in the morning, what most people do when they get up in the morning, let's say 70% want either tea or coffee. So coffee is another thing that I'm going to tell you about now. So obviously when I found out this, I was like, get your climate changing hands off my cup of coffee. Global warming, I was warning it like right there, like, go away. So alas, scientists report that even over half a degree temperatures increase can negatively impact the coffee shop around the world. What's more, an increase in warming-induced rain events has already cut crop yields. For instance, production in India declined by 30% between 2002 and 2011. So that is quite recent. Only a few years ago, it was declined by 30% between 2002 and 2011. So yeah, that's a shocking one. So yeah, there was quite a few others, but as most of our listeners are Muslims, and we're obviously, I don't think I'd need to mention that because that wouldn't be harmful to any of us because we don't consume that. But there are a lot of let's say, there's been, when I was a child, I used to get things that I don't find anymore nowadays. I think they're extinct. Not extinct, but they've been removed by the companies who used to publish them. Like, not publish them, make them. Like, let's say M&Ms, the crispy ones. I mean, I'm sure everyone's had M&Ms, but you've never had the crispy ones. I doubt anybody's had the crispy ones, unless they were my age at that time. There has been a serious lack of crisp in our lives since 2005. So that's obviously that. Since 2005, I think, it's probably like 8, 9 then. I don't remember, but yeah. That's unbelievable. I was quite shocked because I was always looking for these and I could never find them. And then there was like these sour sweets. They were called sour Altoids, and they were special sweets that you'd order from. I think they were from America, but now you can't get them anymore either because basically our tongues have been perfectly and sadly intact since 2008. So they've stopped selling them. The company who used to make that. There was something called French toast crunch as well. The sweet nectar has evaded our lips since 2006, so it left us as well. There was I find these nowadays. I've seen them quite a few times, but it's Planters cheese balls, and so basically what I can put this as, it's cheese balls. So life got a little cheesy in 2006, let's say, but they've gone as well. I see them now and then, when I go to like really old stores, they always have them. Also, old stores that never restock them, never restock. They always seem to have that somewhere just lurking, and I'm like, shall I get it? But then I'm like, it's probably years old, so forget it. Um, there was Butterfinger BBs. They've gone as well. That was a chocolate. There's Oreos O's. It's obviously everyone loves Oreos, but if you remember, there was Oreos O's, the little Cheerio type looking things by Oreo. The most important O-shaped candy has been gone since 2007. PB Crisps disappeared in 1995. Obviously, I wasn't born then, so I have no idea what that was. But obviously, it's another one. Sprite Remix. I remember this. It was removed for some reason. I don't know why. I think most people didn't enjoy the flavors, but it was a remix of Sprite. They were mixing all different flavors in, and it was permanently removed in 2005. There was Fruit Things as well, but they've all been gone from our lives since the mid 2000s. There was like these drinks as well. Oh, I remember these Squeeze It. We used to get them as kids. They always used to be in those on the bottom shelves of those tiny newsagent stores. I remember them. No one has had this wonderful drink. I don't think anyone's had it since 2001, because when I was younger, I used to, since 2001, but they've been gone since about 2004, 2005. I used to remember going to the shops with like 50 pence just to get these. They were amazing, but I don't see much of them anymore. I don't know about them being permanently banned, but I have no idea. There was another M&M's flavor as well, tan M&M's, gone since 1995, but they were replaced by those trash blue ones. So if you remember, people who were I don't remember that, but people who used to eat M&Ms back in the 90s, then they should remember that there was always a tanned colored one, a skin tan colored M&M that was removed for some reason, and it was replaced by a blue one. So no, M&M did wrong there, I think. There was Crystal Pepsi as well. The 1993 claimed this strange beast. So apparently it was good. It was a clear cola, but by PepsiCo, but then it was removed in 1993. Nesquik cereal, and there's been loads as well, but the Nesquik cereal was the one where you got the same milkshake, but then you got that in a cereal form as well, and that's been that really kind of disappeared since 2012. I haven't seen much of it. There was also Skittles gum. Yeah. Yup, you guessed it. 2006 ripped these sweet treats from our mouths too. So obviously they were removed as well. Oh my god, there was 3G Doritos as well. I didn't know that actually. I've never seen that. That's so unfair. Look at all these cool things, man. They've all been gone. Our taste buds have been seriously messed with by these companies, I must say. The world has been flat, boring, and 2D since 2005. So let's say all the crisps nowadays, obviously they're all flat. Well, as Doritos, they used to do their 3D Doritos, which sounds amazing. I've never had one, but if you like Doritos, I'm sure you love them. There was Rice Krispies treat cereal. All but gone from this green earth. It's all gone. I don't think they do it anymore. There was there was lime Skittles as well. Yeah, I remember that actually. There used to be in the Skittles packet, there used to be a lime flavored Skittle. There was lemon and lime, but they removed lime and replaced it with apples, which was a disappointment for Skittles. There was, loads of drinks as well. There was one really weird thing that I've seen actually now and then, but it's not around anymore. I think it's been removed because of some health issue. But it was a EZ squirt ketchup, and that was it was a ketchup, but it was in strange colors like purple, green, and blue, and a good reason it's gone. I'm actually glad it has. There was chocolate vanilla cream Pop Tarts by Kellogg's, but they've been out of our lives in the mid 2000s. There's been a Pepsi, but it was a blue color, but it died in 2004. Basically, it went. There was yeah, pretty much it. That's it. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's our favorite treats gone. But yeah, before we end the show, I am going to give a shout out to a few of our local businesses, because I think they're doing a brilliant job, and I think they deserve a bit of recognition. And one of them is I think it was Bespoke Cakes, which is based in Dewsbury, and it's run it's a cake business. I've had cakes from there actually at weddings and parties and stuff. And it's cakes made by a lady named Sumaira Sultan and her team, I assume. I assume she has workers with her. And they do amazing cakes, absolutely amazing cakes. They have, they do all sorts. She creates these fantastic ones, which are, she caters for weddings, birthday parties, and stuff like that, as it says on her Facebook profile. But for more information, you guys can visit her Facebook profile. It's Sumaira Sultan Bespoke Cakes. And it's based in Dewsbury, West Yorkshire. And she does cakes for occasions and stuff as well. I've had her cakes. I think they're sublime. So I would advise you to hopefully see her for cakes as well. And there's another one, and she's an award winner actually. She's a very unique business woman, I would say. She's called Hina Rasool, and she does cakes that are under the name Desserts by Hina. And she won the Asian wedding. She got the cake company for 2014 in the Asian Wedding Awards. So it's an award-winning business, and she does a lot of cakes in her own design. Let's say she does like jeweled cakes. Like, I've seen her pictures, they are really amazing. I've never seen any cakes made like that. Actually, I've seen loads of cakes in different ways and different shapes and sizes, and these cakes, however, they come out to be unique in every way. Every time she makes them, they're slightly different, but they're really nice, and it looks like so much care and attention goes into them. So you can follow Hina Rasool. She's based in Manchester, United Kingdom, and you can contact her via her Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/Hina Rasool, and you should find her easily. And yeah, that's a shout out to our big businesses. So hopefully, I hope that these businesses do well, and hopefully next week we're gonna have a special guest with us who's gonna share with us a few recipes of their own, and hopefully we'll go from there then. But for now, we are going to hopefully go off air, I assume. But I hope you guys take care of yourselves, keep warm, drink plenty of soup, sit in front of the fire, whatever you do on these cold winter days. And inshallah, I'll be back with new recipes, new shows, new hints and tips, but the same person. So, if you're getting annoyed with me, then sorry, but I'll see you on Monday, inshallah. I'll see you guys on Monday, and hopefully, if you do want to call in and ask us any recipes or anything like that, you can contact us via WhatsApp, which is 0786 8476 577. Or you can call 01924 472 776. And obviously, if it's children, please make sure you ask your parents before you call. And yeah, if anybody wants to call in and ask some questions or give a recipe in, then do so. And inshallah, I'll get back to you with more news on what's going on around in the food industry and with us. And all these pictures, as I've said time and time again, if you want to see the pictures of how the result actually came out, then you can visit the Twitter page, my Twitter account, which is at Kabia8044, and you will be able to view the recipes with pictures step by step, and then you can contact me via that page, and I'll be able to assist you in any help that you need, inshallah. And what I'm trying to do now is like produce videos as well to upload on YouTube, so you'll be able to see them as well, hopefully, and take it from there, inshallah. So I am going to go off air now, and inshallah, you guys take care of yourselves, and I shall see you on Monday evening with more guests, obviously, hopefully. Inshallah, some special guests will come with us next week, but this week, Monday, I think I'm just going to do another few more recipes, if you like, and stuff like that. And hopefully in the coming weeks, and in the new year especially, we've got a lot of things planned. So inshallah, stay tuned, keep listening to Al Mubarak Radio, keep contacting us, keep supporting us. It means a lot to us. MashaAllah, you guys are amazing people. May Allah bless you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.